why franchise resales are going to explode in 2026 and why you should look at picking up a franchise on the resale market. We're going to have this conversation with Bo Eckstein. Bo, what's going on, man? I agree with you. I think franchise resales are going to explode next year, but I'm not sure if we agree on the reason why. What are you see coming?
Okay, so here's what I see coming. One, you have the boomers. They want to retire. Okay.
Yep.
For example, we're investing into a franchise, right? The guy never grew the franchise. He's almost 70. He's like, look, I'm done. Okay. I tried to get SBA financing because we're the investor, not the operator. Declining revenue, can't do it, never grew it. But the territories, right? Because franchising is about the territories when it's a service-based business, are golden. Those two territories we're getting should do 1.2 to 1.7 million in top line. It's only doing 170,000 right now.
Oh, you could 10x that. Wow.
Right. Yeah. And we will. Right. And so we're using this as a prototype. The point is we couldn't get SBA financing. Seller needs to sell. We went back to him and say, seller finance this deal. I think we're only putting like 30 or 40 grand down or something like that.
It's funny you said that. I circled seller financing because this is what I think is coming to the franchise world. To your point, the people that are going to be selling need to sell, right? Are they, in this example, 70 years old? Do they have declining revenue? Were they always a one-man shop? And the little wrinkle in all of this is my belief. And again, this is your world. So this is just one outside guy's guess, is I'm going to guess a lot of people jumped in the franchises in 2020 and 2021 when money was loose and easy. And they probably had some success because, again, the world was flush with cash. And you know what? Running a business is hard. Growing a business is harder. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to be like, too much work, not enough reward, I'm out. So they're going to want to liquidate or sell. What do you think?
100%.
Oh, yes.
Owner fatigue, lifestyle mismatch. They didn't work with our team and we didn't match them. A lot of people buy into the hype of a franchise. Oh, this, semi-absentee, They're not given the reality of what it takes. They built a job and not a business. So they didn't have the right mindset going in. They didn't have the skill sets. We talk about, you see everybody online now going business ownership, right? And I'm part of that. Let's get everybody into a business. But I also want to understand that like some of you should just do gateway business and like, that's good enough, right? You're not ready to run a 20-person team and nor am I somebody who wants to run 20 or 30 people, right? Like you got to know how you really work well. So that's part of it. The aging franchise owners. That was like, so we were dead on with those two things, but yeah, I mean, seller motivation is increasing, burnout, under optimized, not marketing properly. A lot of people I see too, what they do is they think, oh, I could just run in some absentee. And I'm like somebody from California bought one of the cookie franchises here locally. And they're like, oh, it's too hard. I thought I could just run it from LA and can't come to Vegas all the time. That happens all the time. So there's a huge opportunity. A lot of the franchises, on franchise resales, you're going to look at some that are way overpriced, way too high of a multiple. Throw those out the door. We'll let them come down and get realistic because nobody's going to buy something that they can't get SBA financing for generally. But then there's going to be the ones that are like, they open the doors and they realize that they're just not cut out for it. And those are the ones where they've put a 200 or 300 grand into it and you can buy them for 150 grand, right? So like, and then it's like, but the missing piece is you have to do the work.
Yeah. I think when I look at franchise resales next year, and again, this is your world, not mine, so I'm purely guessing. I think there's a couple of things. First and foremost, I know your intake process, your Zoracle or whatever tool you're using. You've got to make sure that your skill set, your experience, and your type of personality matches the business. I do think there was a lot of mismatches in 2020 and 2021. I know you helped with that. The other thing I heard you say earlier, which was an aha moment for me, is location. And, it would probably be something that you and I should look at. I mean, just as two friends, as two boys, we might want to look. I mean, I'm sure you could do it. And maybe you could send me this, is like, what are all the resale markets in Henderson or Vegas? Just to see, because again, with our reach and our execution, maybe there's something we can pick up for 50 cents on the dollar. Maybe it's something we can get financed with 10% down. Maybe it's, again, when I look at this, it's also something we could do for 3 or 4 years and then sell it, right? Go reap the rewards, do it, and then get the upside on the other side of this. So it's something that you and I should probably talk about every 90 days or so. Just like, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? Because, we've got a lot of capital we could put to work, and, maybe there's just some easy money we could pick up. So those are some thoughts that come to mind.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. It was like, it actually would be a great television show.
Content. Yeah.
Franchise flippers, right? Like you go in and you come in and it's underperforming because they don't understand the operations. They're not following the playbook, or possibly they got into the wrong franchise. Obviously, we wouldn't buy it if we didn't think the franchisor was a good brand, because not every franchisor is a good brand to invest in, because some of them shouldn't be franchisors. Like everybody wants to franchise their business, right? So they open up a location, then they're told to open a second location. Then they show their corporate earnings. Well, they're doing great, and they're great as business owners, but they're not great as being somebody who's going to scale this massive empire. I mean,
yeah, it might be fun to do a 3 or 5 year turnaround. Again, I mean, if you look at my track record, you look at my books, I'm always buying when there's blood in the streets, and I do think 2026 is going to be one of those years where people just throw their hands up in the air, which means great prices and great terms. To your earlier point, get into something for less down than you could in an SBA loan. And, again, would be fun to just put some muscle behind, and then with a plan to sell it, right? I don't want to be doing anything when I'm 60. So I got 7 years left. I have some energy. So, I mean, we could do 2 or 3 runs of these, local, flip businesses or whatever. I mean, again, I don't know if we do anything with this, but you've got me excited.
Yeah. I mean, I look at opportunities and then having the right people. Like you can bolt on like a fractional CFO. You can bolt on like somebody, if you're buying a home service business, that can help you grow it, like kind of coach you on top of the franchise. Like there's all the ways to doing it. I'm not like, you could be an investor, right? I could manage the manager or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many ways. So there's no I in team. Like, if you're a person that can work with people in partnership, some people can never have a partner because they don't see eye to eye. Like you have to understand humans. Like I see a lot of people like getting into partnerships and they fail, I think if you set the right expectations up front, and you get an attorney, you draft up the operation. These are the what ifs of what happens if I die, this is what happens. If I want to be bought out, you have to have that all laid out. I see too many people who don't lay out that plan, but I do think, because now if you look at trends right now, years back it was flipping houses was the trend, right? Like everybody wanted to be a house flipper. Well, right now everybody wants to be a business owner, and the reality is that a lot of people won't put in the work, won't learn, and they think they're just going to magically run a business. So there's going to be a lot of people that bought into the big picture out there, and then they realize that they're going to fail, because there's SBA in general has a default rate. If you can go look it up online what it is. So we know there's going to be defaults. I've already heard people who gotten into businesses with SBA financing, and actually a pretty smart guy. he was just in one of my calls. He bought an HVAC company. I think a private equity firm came in with him, because private equity's throwing their money around too. And then anyways, he had to shut down the business and do like offer and compromise. And this guy's a really smart guy, but he had a million other businesses going. He thought he could just magically run this. And then there's guys like Tommy Mello, A1, the garage door guy. He got bought out by private equity recently. That guy, I think, got $250 million from a garage door company. He scaled that thing. That guy's pretty sharp. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. So I always tell people the same thing. And it's like, look, let's look at resales. Let's look at franchise startups. Let's look at mom and pop owned business. Let's really figure out what makes the most sense. Because a lot of people do come in and they go, I don't want to start a franchise from scratch. I want to resell. But I'm telling you right now, a lot of resales, you still got to come in, and it's not like you're getting cash flow. Everybody has to think they'll come in, and just like we all thought we'd come in and own like 2 or 3 rentals and we're going to make $5,000 a month cash flow. And reality, we know you're going to make like 200 a door, 300 a door, 400
Right.
a door. You're not going to make 1,000 a door unless you have. So I think just getting realistic, but yeah, there's definitely going to be a huge opportunity. And I have a lot of people that call me too that, hey, we're trying to buy this $4 million business and we're trying, and it's like, they're piecing it together. And we're like, well, I can't be the guarantor because my credit sucks, but I'm going to put, and they give me this guy. He's going to be the guarantor. He's going to own 51%. And I'm like, you expect an underwriter to believe that this guy making 60 grand a year with $15,000 in his bank account is qualified to buy a $4 million business? You know, it's got to be realistic, guys. Like I always talk about creative financing, but you got to be realistic. You got to bring somebody in that's got, you know, $200,000-$300,000 a year salary, got the title, got a 401k, he's got reserves, preferably he's got a house. But anyway, like people are getting unrealistic in this space too. And I always try to be realistic with people and set the right expectations of what's going to happen. I did have a call with I don't know if I brought it up last time, with the ORAT guy who bought vending machines. He works in tech. I think he was doing $250 a year W-2. He's like, buying property in Indiana. I said, man, don't do that. I already did that.
I've been there, done that. Yeah.
He's got 5 now and he's netting about $2,000 a month total. And he said they're working out and he manages them. He's a really smart guy. And then he had booked a call. So I didn't know what it was going to be for, but maybe want to get more machines so anyways, he's like, yeah, it's going good. You know, he's getting his machines placed. He said that Silicon Valley is a little harder to place, but he had just gotten laid off. And now he's got it. Like, he's like, look, I don't want to have to get laid off again. So he's like, look, let's look at some businesses. I don't know if I'm going to do it today, but I'm like, yeah, just like Zuber and I talk about, you need a backup plan, right? Like, and so now he decided he's not going to invest in Indiana and he's going to invest in Arizona where he's going to be living. And I said, that's a lot smarter. I said, you don't need as many doors, but you want to be in a 2.5 hour radius, just like one rental at a time says. If any different, you're never you're defeating the purpose. So anyway, so the point is people are getting laid off. There's opportunities before you get laid off and you have a job. It's a lot easier to get into the business and not plan. So don't wait to get into business before, and then you have a plan, because plan B needs to be thought of before you get into the plan B position.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I do think franchise resale will be a big business in 2026, but it all starts with booking your 15-minute call at onerentalmeeting.com. Yes, this young man created a domain name just for you. onerentalmeeting.com. Check it out. Go book 15 minutes. Bo, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff.
Thank you so much.